Thank you very much, Prince, for your time. Briefly about the rituals that I know that they are sacred, but what can you share with us?
Thank you for your time. Today we have 3 rituals that are going to be performed by the Royal House or in Lunkolo. The first one, Okishwa Gwengonyama Emabutweni, because we have the belief that Amabuto, the warriors, they belong to the king. So when the king passes on, and then we know that everything, there's a certain belief that his spirit is hovering. So as much as we have done a series of rituals that we have done, the last one that we did was the ascension of Kushula Gwengonyama, if I can use that word. So now we are going to and then you'll find the suitable word in English, you'll tell me. And then the second one is the cleansing of the throne, because once the king passes on, you have to cleanse the throne so that it will be prepared or ready for the one who's going to ascend the throne. And the third one, Umtanus is going to be taken to the Kraal. He's not just entering on his own, but it is part of the duties of the royal house to take him to the Kraal. And there are some sacred rituals that are going to be performed there. And then once he exits the Kraal, as Ingonyama. He will go in as a prince and exit as Ingonyama. So those are the things that are going to be done at this.
Someone will ask, who is performing these rituals? Is Prince Simakade doing these rituals on his own, or is the royal house?
The royal house that's doing, because he didn't appoint himself. He was appointed by the royal house. So as we have been doing all other rituals, we are still fulfilling our duty, because he is just like any other kids here in the royal family. So he cannot do any. So the royal house has to do all these activities that we have just mentioned.
We know that these rituals are, most of them are sacred to the royal house, but briefly, if you can just tell us about the animals that are going to be used. Do we use any animals? Do we slaughter? What is happening?
Unfortunately, Makulokolo, I cannot preempt or divulge some of the information concerning those rituals. I'm prohibited to do so.
Yes. We also understand that the Prince Mangosuthu tried to prevent this ceremony to continue by writing a statement during the week. What is your take in relation to that?
Who is Prince Mangosuthu? He has no jurisdiction over the affairs of the royal house. He is from Buthelezi clan. He is just a nephew here on the position of a prime minister. He is just acting on the behest of the royal house. He is not superior than the royal house. So whatever that he's doing is in the masses, because he's just like the servant, the messenger of the royal house to the nation. So we cannot say Buthelezi has to say this. For the fact that he wrote a letter, how, if he's part of the royal family, how could he write a letter to the public and not come to this place and say this is wrong, this is right? Of which, if I can put it there for argument's sake, for how long? Because the king passed away last year. He has never even called a meeting as he is claiming to be the superior person, or even to sit with the queens and deliberate on some of the issues. So then only thing that we hear in the media and everywhere, that's why he's talking. But he has never spoken to us. So for that reason, it doesn't exist.
The other question is, we do see that today you are guys gathering here in Enyokeni. Why was this palace chosen to be the one that this function is held?
This is the place you can call is the temple of the nation, of the Zulu nation, because all the sacred rituals are performed here, from the reed ceremony, or you say reed dance, to first fruit of say Ishwamu. It's only done here, because it's only this place where we have in Zulu and we perform all our sacred rituals. So we don't have another one. We don't have other Kraal. So, but the people, they do claim, and we cannot dispute their claim. We are continuing to do what is required of us as the culture calls us to do so.
Someone will say that this is confusing the Zulu nation, no AmaZulu, when it comes to these rituals that are performed, because we also understand that Prince Misuzulu is also going to be taken to the Kraal next week. What can you say in relation to that?
Who is behind this thing of confusing the nation? Let me give you an example so that you will be the judge. When we are preparing for Uguchalo Gwengonyama, all the elders who are claiming to know better, they were there at Enalini, Wakitum Tandai. And the king, on his last journey to be buried, he left Enalini, his palace. And then a few months down the line, when they started this noise and all the stuff, they say it was wrong. And we asked the question, where were they? Because they are the elders, they are the one who were leading us. So the unfortunate part, the unfortunate thing that has happened to the Zulu nation is because Umntwana kaButhelezi has projected himself to be the supreme being, Mr. Know-it-all in all the affairs, of which that's not true. Indlunkulu knows their story as we are doing. We have been performing these rituals from last year till now. So this, I should say, the nation mustn't be confused. I understand this thing of mobilizing people and all the stuff that they've been doing for their political gains, and of which that has distorted the whole process that we have embarked on. Thanks.
Can I also ask one thing? Is this ritual conducted during day or is it conducted during the night?
Yeah, it's almost the sunset. So I think you have the answer in that. Nothing has been done. Okay. Thanks. And maybe for a matter of educating the people, maybe when the sun sets, you'll see the moon rise. And then we should mention this. You cannot perform these rituals at any time of the month. The moon has to be full. So because we believe that our cultures or our traditions are so connected to the nature, we respond to the nature. So you will see at night and then the moon will be full and then we'll start to do whatever that has to be done.